Welcome to my underground cinema, and as you can see, I have got no idea what I'm doing. So in this video, I'm going to give myself 3 simple tasks. Number 1, dig the hole for the cinema. Number 2, tunnel my way into my YouTube studio. Number 3, install the concrete foundations for my cinema to sit on top of. Now, although right now my dream looks very unattainable, by the end of this video, we will be one step closer.
Now, unfortunately, this video does take an unexpected turn for the worst. Now, task number 1 was digging the hole for the cinema. However, as you can see, it is full of water. So I nipped off to buy one of these, a water pump that's going to suck all that water out of the hole so we can get digging. So it was a quick 5-minute ride to my local Screwfix where I could buy my very first dirty water pump.
Johnny boy, I need help, mate. Have you got any of these pumps in? Because I think one said next day delivery. 105 CG.
Nah, I'd have to order that one in.
What about 495 XF?
495 XF.
Yeah.
Yeah, got 7 of them in.
Yeah, buddy. One of them, mate.
Yeah.
I've got a massive hole in my floor with a pond in it. It comes with the pipe, doesn't it? I would have thought.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. There we go. Tighten to save the day. There's definitely a tube in it, isn't there?
There's not a hose that's included in it.
Oh, is it not? Do you have to buy the hose?
Unfortunately, so good down.
Please tell me you've got the hose. Don't know about you guys, but this job sucked.
Honestly, my dad jokes are amazing, but all jokes aside, it was time to get rid of this water. Now, I've never used one of these pumps before, but it was pretty simple to put together. Just connected to my hose, found out where my water was going to be dispersed to, then it was time to tighten up the Jude Relief clip, plug it in, and drop it in. And hopefully, this will solve all of my problems. But as you can imagine, it didn't. The pipe was too long, and when the water pressure was building up, it kept kinking. Honestly, it was a nightmare. But thankfully, one of you guys recommended a new pump, which I have just bought. Hopefully, that will solve my problems.
Now, as you can see, this is not ideal. So I've got a couple of options, really. I could build up like a temporary kind of building around the hole to stop it getting wet. I do need to dig a really low bit with a slab on it so I can sit the pump on the slab so it's not churning up mud. So if it ever does flood, then I can get the water out. But it just goes to show I need to get this cinema built literally as soon as I possibly can, which leads me on to kind of what we're going to be building out of the ICF blocks. Now, I've been on the phone to him this morning. He's doing the design. He needs to work at lightning speed to be able to get the order through, because once we've figured out the design, the order will take 3 days for delivery. So I need to get this dug down as deep as possible, get the concrete footing set, get a perimeter built around it so it doesn't leak all the time, and figure out this flooding issue. We drained the swamp, baby. Now, I know we don't have smell-o-vision, probably for the best, because that stinks.
And this is something that we didn't want to find, sandy blue clay.
So right now we have a hole which ain't big enough because our little Coco over there, her arms are just not quite long enough to get down as deep as we go. And what was happening yesterday is it locked out and I couldn't get a digger arm back up. So it's time for a new digger. Big digger, mate.
In comes Coco's big sister. Now, this guy or lady needs a name, so let us know in the comments what you think we should call Coco's big sister or brother. Now, it's super important for us to have a big dig like this, because when we're installing the pond next year, we need a machine to be able to move the rocks about. And boy, what a machine this is.
I have a chair. I've got air conditioning and a radio. A radio, whoa, on the radio. Oh my God, this is the sickest digger ever. Right, I'm gonna start her up for the first time. Yeah, buddy. The question is my digger big enough to get around the side of the house? It's 155. That's 150. Oh, she's tight. Oh, she's tight. We're all right here, but it's gonna be tight. Need to do a little bit of titivating. I need to move the digger out and then move my van, then move the digger around, move the skip and get it in the back garden. We've now got to move around probably about 40 tonne of soil and the grab's got to take it away, but I really don't want the grab to damage my cable. So I've got these from a lockup, which will cover the cables that way. Hopefully the grab will grab these and not the cables. We need to load it up as close to here as possible, which isn't ideal, but there we go. Let's go, baby.
Now the question is, did I underestimate how much muck we needed to take away from this garden? Well, the answer is yes, I did. But me and Tina this day moved 36 tons of material from the back garden to the front of the garden. This little Coco she's made me proud. Can we give Coco some love in the comments? She's a brilliant little machine. But the question is, where does all that muck go? Because I had the same thing, to be honest. I was thinking, where does it go? Where do you put it? Well, one of these things, which is a grab. Now, they vary in price all over the country. Cheeto Grab Hire did these for me for around about 250 quid a load. If it's clean, if it's mucky, I think it's like 360.
One down, another one to go. My hole is full of water. Again, we have ordered the second grab, and what I'm going to do, just for the time being, I'm going to put little Coco in retirement for the rest of the day because I need to pull Coco's bigger sister or bigger brother, we've not decided yet, let me know in the comments what you think we should call her, to dig the rest of the underground cinema. But as you can see, it's full of water. Now, someone told me on a live to zip tie the top up, which is amazing if it works. Does it work? Oh yeah, it does. So I need to zip tie that to there to make it work. What a tip this is. And then now, if I jump back out on the swamp, oh no, needs two on it, doesn't it? Can unblock my toilets while I'm at it, mate. So my pump is fully underwater there. There we go, there we go. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna have to put my wellies on, aren't I? I love these wellies, but they're a nightmare to get off once you've got them on. Oh, not a good idea. That's deeper than my wellies. I didn't know I dug it that deep. So while the swamp is draining, there's one little job we need to do. Coco's big sister does not have a bucket, so we need to change that.
Now look, before some random guy holding a fish in his profile picture comes at me in the comments and says, Mark, you're not installing that correctly. I know, it was meant to have a coupling between the bucket and the digger arm, but classic Mark Marshall, I forgot to order it. So when I spoke to Will at Kubota, he said, don't worry mate, you can just put the bucket directly onto the arm. Problemo solvo, let's bloody go.
Now I thought I'd ordered the wrong bits for it, but I didn't. So this pin goes through the kind of digger and the bucket. And then on the side of the bucket, on this side, there's like little nodules where the kind of stop pins go. Whereas when I was looking from that side, I thought I'd ordered the wrong ones. So now we put these through. I need to kind of wiggle it up. You need to kind of get it absolutely banged on. I need to go down a tiny bit.
Now that I've sorted out the little problem of being able to put these pins through and lock them in place, now that little pin you see me pop in, that stops it vibrating out and keeps your bucket on when you're obviously working. Normally you can get, like I say, you can get a coupling which is automatic, but I didn't obviously order that. Then it was time to remove the pump, get rid of any excess water, then we could finally start prepping the area to get the big guns out. But then I remembered I needed fuel, and boy does this drunk a lot of fuel as well. It's bloody hungry this one, guy, I'm not gonna lie.
Here we go. Was you just checking out my ass?
Seconds from you losing me, but I just couldn't give it up.
I've struck a little bit of a problem. This is my driveway. Doesn't look very good. I know I've done it a little bit backwards, putting my gates on first, but what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the micro dig around if I can. I'm gonna scrape this off. I'm gonna buy a load of boards. I'm gonna board it off properly, and then we can mount the stuff on it. It can get the grab out, because the reality is we're gonna be digging a massive pond in there. We're gonna have probably 6 grabs out of it, and we need to make it safe for the cables and stuff. So I'm gonna mess around with that, get this cleared, and it'll make it a lot more cleaner when we're getting the muck from the back to the front.
Now that's one problem with this project, is once you kind of break one thing or try to start one thing, something else just literally falls apart. I know I should have started this project a lot earlier on in the summer, but I was out surprising many of you with free gardens and driveways, so mine kind of just got pushed back. So after a quick scrape off with the digger, we went and got some boards from MKM. We got back, put them down, then we could finally start digging the cinema room. But we should know by now, guys, nothing ever goes to plan.
We have a little problem, and the problem is it's raining all the time. Like, it's literally not stopping raining. I need to get the water drained so I can get in, I can straighten up my edges with a spade, and then I can board it with, I've got some plyboard that I'm going to board it with as a big square, and I'm going to put some supports in to kind of hold all the ground back, so then we can start working on the tunnel that way. But we also need something that's really going to stop, it's not going to stop the rain, but something that could potentially, like a gazebo that's strong enough to survive the kind of weather, so we can cover everything, so we can work under, and it just we're not be getting drenched and not having this problem every day. So time to get my thinking cap on.
Now the rain did not stop, so I decided to go back to school and learn a little bit more about installing ponds.
Let's go, baby.
Now I'm trying to install the best pond that anyone has ever seen, but to do that I need knowledge. And thankfully my boy Toby at Aquascapes, along with the Landscaping Academy, set up a workshop on how to build a pond from scratch. Now I know what you're thinking, Mark, you've done ponds in America and you've done ponds in the UK. Why have you gone back to school? Well, you can never have too much knowledge, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared of building my pond. I need to make sure that I get it absolutely bang on. And this guy, Ryan at AfriPonds, if you don't follow him, go and drop him a follow on Instagram or whatever socials he's on, because his work's incredible. He is an advanced installer. The work that he carries out is impeccable, if that's a word. I think it is, isn't it? And a massive thank you to Landscape Plus as well for coming down on this day, supplying all the bits and bobs that we need for the job. Now, if you or someone that you know want to be involved in a day like this where we all get together and we build a pond together, please let us know in the comments, and I'll try and get Toby, my boy, to set one up. But the big question is, why am I so passionate about it? Why did I get stuck in so much? Well, many years ago, my nana had a pond in the garden. She used to make me go out and try and find the fish that I've found out later on in life there was a never fish in there. So it brings like a tangible memory for me, and every time we build a water feature I get emotional. I'm obsessed with them now. I'm not sponsored by Aquascape at all. I just love the brand. I love the fact that they work with nature rather than against it. When Greg set up the company all them years ago, he did it for animals. He did it for his turtles, which if you know me, you know I love animals. And that is why I am turning my pond into a freshwater habitat for endangered species in the UK. I know that's a little bit of a curveball. Rather than put koi in there, I want to try and revitalise the local nature in my area. So to do that, I'm going to work with a load of local charities to give all of our wonderful little creatures the boost that they need. And I'm going to have a window to see it all.
What a day. I have learned so much. Now I know I need to make sure that my glass is super thick. Thankfully, Ryan has given me a little tip on how to kind of get hold of someone who can deal with the pressures of the water. So let's get back to the job. When I set out to build this underground cinema, I did not think that I would be sat in a pool of water, pumping out water every single day. I wonder if Colin had to do with this. They all clapped in around me. Because it's so wet. I like this idea though. That's the bottom there. Look how close it is to the top of my boot. So it's the water that's what I can see the water coming through the whole sides there, and it's washing under. That's why it's falling. Because it's weeping out the sides. I can see it. Yeah, look, it's coming through the sand there, weeping in, so that's making it drop down.
Now, it was at this point I started to have doubts about the whole build. Literally, every time I stepped one step forward, the weather and the environment were giving me 2 steps backwards. So I decided to pull in some help.
Hey up, buddy! How you doing, matey? You good?
Yeah. I'm
So
good.
I don't say this often to many people, but this is my hole. The plan is I've hit some, but I'm assuming that's clay.
Yeah.
So my worries are, well, to be honest with you, I didn't have any worries till we posted on the internet, and then everyone's like, no, everything's going to flood. A guy who I met at a show put me onto you, and he said you are like literally the expert in kind of, is it damp proofing and water tighting?
I've just all I've done for 25 years is like think about basements.
Is it?
Yeah, really, yeah.
This is kind of a basement. So first of all, do you think it's an absolutely stupid idea?
No, I mean anything's achievable. It's just
Yeah.
it just comes down to considering the right things.
Thankfully, James spent the next 30 minutes explaining why this build is so dangerous and I need to take it serious. Thankfully, he's going to help us.
Through water table, like that example of the beach, you go down to a point and
Yeah.
then the water is the same level across a wide area.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much what we would consider to be
True water table. Yeah.
I mean, you get into kind of like aquifers and all that kind of thing, and even that's beyond. Mark, you really need to stop digging.
And boy, was he right, but not for the reason you think.
This is meant to be the happiest time of our lives, and to be honest, over the last 6 weeks it kind of has been. I've created some incredible videos and pushed my landscaping ability to the limit, and to be honest, the dream started because of this garden. I knew it had huge potential, so we got to work. Over the last 6 to 8 weeks I have literally poured my heart into this garden. I have given my absolute everything to try and create the best garden that I possibly can to give me somewhere to recharge when I'm back from being out on the road. Now, surprising 20 people with free gardens or driveways over the last 12 months has been the highlight of my life. And many of you now have become like my family. And no matter how many ups or downs I have been through, you have all stood with me. But this one is pretty tough. Now, what I'm really struggling to understand is how can it go so wrong? How can we have a beautiful garden like this and then it all be absolutely destroyed? Now, as you can imagine, the aftermath isn't pretty. And these bits that we filmed that we just can't put on social media because it's disgusting. And the fact that we found out yesterday that the previous owners knew about this problem, but not only knew about it, they reported the waste flooding into the house in January 2024, and they still didn't make us aware of it. Now, me and Tina, we haven't got much. We've had to work hard for everything that we've got. The house to us is our dream home. And the fact that another human being knew about these problems and didn't make us aware of it, I think it's absolutely disgusting. Now, we've obviously spoke to United Utilities. They've been out, they've checked everything. We're kind of trying to figure out between us why the problem kind of went wrong, because we've had this system in, which is kind of an anti-flood measure thing. We're currently in talks with them now to try and figure out some sort of resolution for it, because we're stuck with the problem now. I've put this house on social media, and I'm not the type of person to kind of put a house on sale knowing that it's got problems just to kind of get away from it, because I just think it's wrong. Now, I'm not going to lie, this week, as you can imagine by my whole face, I've been absolutely just depressed. Like, you know me, I'm Mr. Positive. I always try and make other people happy through my content. I go and surprise people with free gardens, and then for this to happen was a massive knockback. But I have to keep pushing forward. Like, this garden by this time next year is going to be absolutely insane, and hopefully I can invite some of you down to enjoy it with me. So let's change that.
Now, first up on the hit list is our soil pipe that runs from my toilet to the main drain. There's a couple of reasons. One, I accidentally caught it when I was using my digger, and the second reason is it runs directly through where my pond is going to be. And we've already mentioned that we don't want to be looking at a dirty soil pipe when we're looking out of our nice clean new window. So we're going to move it around the houses. But first we need to find it. So I find a location of where I think it's going to be through Josh's markings when he comes to scan the drains, and then I could start digging in that spot. And then soon enough we hit gold.
We found the source of the poo pipe, ladies and gentlemen. Where you're stood right now, you're stood on top of the poo pipe, and it's here. We've exposed it. So now you have a little look. That's the old poo pipe, and this here is where it looks absolutely fresh as a daisy. Now what I need to do, so that comes out the ground, we need to get this inspection chamber, which is going to sit on this here. Then that's going to divert it that way. But you'll notice that that doesn't fit that. So the old soil stack doesn't fit the new one. Now, the center of it is still 100 mil, but the outside is a lot thicker. So what we do need to do is we need to add a little bit of pipe on there, and then we've got a rubber at the front, which we're gonna clamp from the old size to the new size. Stinks of poo, yeah, it does stink of poo.
Now, if there's any ground workers watching this, I take my hat off to you guys. This job was probably one of the worst ones that I've ever done. The fact that you're in this environment every day, you deserve a medal and a pay rise because it's bloody hard work. So now that I'd found my soil pipe, it's time for me to mark out and start digging where I want the new route to go. See how I say route, because me American friends, route. We're taking it to a new route. But as you can see, the weather was disgusting. The whole garden was like a bog. But after time and preservation, we managed to get all of the footings dug, ready to install our brand new pipe. Get up.
I think we have found the main drain. So now that I've found it, I'm going to further inspect it with my spade. So what I've done is I turned the digger right down so it's not got the strength to break the pipe, and then I've just titivated very gingerly around this area. What I'm going to do now is expose it a little bit more to see which one it's running. So we've got two crossover pipes. One is the storm drain and the other is the main drain, which we cannot move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap into this temporarily, and then I'm going to put an inspection chamber on that. The reason that I'm not putting an inspection chamber in it right now is everyone's out of stock. I went to 4 or 5 different builders merchants yesterday. It was 5, and not one of them had a 6-inch inspection chamber, but you'll see what I'll do in a bit. We have dug our trench ready for our drainage. Was it easy? It wasn't. There was a lot of effing and jeffing, but we got there in the end. What we're going to do now is kind of just dry run everything. So just sit everything in like this as a temporary kind of measure. Perfect reason why we dry run everything, because it was right when I started digging it, but it's not right now. So I need to kind of cut this pipe off to give me some more room so I can fit that on there. Then we can start kind of making sure our level. So we're going to put some pea gravel in, sit it in, and then start installing the pipe. But before I do that, I need to go and get some end caps. Should have picked some up from the builder's merchant, because I only need this one to come through here, so the waste will come in. It'll go that way, so I need to block off that one and that one, which I don't have. I need to go and get 2 caps. So I'll go and grab them and we can start installing it. Time for the bit I've been dreading, cutting into this main drain. As you can see, it is literally flowing non-stop. So we have very limited time to cut it, and then we're gonna literally go 3, 2, 1, cut, take off, slide that one in, drill, 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 fingers crossed. I just need people not to have a number 2 while I'm doing it, because they've just had a lovely one then.
Disclaimer, do not try this at home. Now, this is a main drain and it actually belongs to United Utilities. When they come out and initially spoke to me, they said that we might not be able to move the pipe. Whereas I thought, well, I'm not moving the pipe, I'm just tapping into it. But I shouldn't have done that either. So if you are considering doing anything with your main drains, make sure that you have authorization first. Otherwise, you'll end up like me with a bloody slapped wrist. Now, this is what I did do. I exposed the main drain. I had to work extremely quick to make sure I didn't get covered in feces. I then used these Fernco fittings, which essentially takes the old style pipe into the new style pipe. Once I was happy that it was sealed, it was then time to add the pea gravel shimmy it and lock it in both sides just to make sure that I didn't have a bow and my levels were perfect. Once I was happy with my levels, I then started to cover the whole pipe using pea gravel and soil. Now it was at this point I genuinely felt on top of the world until this happened. This is when the floods happened. One day after me rerouting my soil pipe, we had the worst flood I've ever seen. And at first I thought everything was going to be alright. Although the water was rising, I didn't think it would get this bad. It was over 1 foot of water, including my YouTube studio, was destroyed. So I rang some friends and together we rerouted my storm drain and we put in a main new drain. Now I've since found out that I shouldn't have touched the storm drain or the main drain, but I was so angry I just wanted to fix the problem. And at this point, I didn't even know whether my dream would be over. When I bought this house 3 months ago with the intentions of building the underground cinema with a view window into a huge British pond, I thought everything would be a lot smoother than it was. But we've had some challenges along the way, and there's only one man that I knew could answer the question, could we go ahead or not? And that was James.
It's not all doom and gloom, Mark.
Are you looking at the same thing as me, mate?
It's useful insofar as it illustrates what the site conditions are. So we know it's medium risk for surface water flooding. Topographically, it's a flat area.
Yeah.
We've got permeable soil over impermeable clay, and we're digging into the clay, which would encourage perched water table. It looks like you've got some drainage issues that you've identified as well. But essentially you'd classify this as a high risk site. That then guides the decisions that we make around the type of structure that we go with.
So you've just said what materials, so I take it with you saying that, that's a loaded question, which means we possibly can't use the ICF.
ICF is great, it's a great system, but it is recognised as being potentially higher risk where basements are concerned.
So we're going to put a higher risk product in a pond. It's probably not ideal.
You'd be better off just going with best practice and just using cast in situ reinforced concrete.
Yesterday morning, I thought I was going to have to fill this hole and just break my heart and not do my dreams. You're saying right now that we can still go forward.
Yeah, you just...
We're going ahead!